There's a lot of research out there talking about how it will be healthier if we know our own language. That's good for your own self. It's close to elders, and that's good for family. So how can we raise our awareness? Myself, my family, community, village, even church, all the indigenous society need to be waken up first to know the importance of our own language.
Welcome to Taiwan Talk. I'm Aspen Beilharz. Taiwan is an island of many languages, and it always has been. Before Mandarin, Taiwanese, Hakka and English, Taiwan's indigenous peoples spoke more than 20 distinct languages. Many of them still exist today, and are even recognized as official national languages. But like indigenous languages around the world, they're in danger of dying out after centuries of social upheaval and ongoing marginalisation. Today, I'm talking to one of the people fighting to keep them alive.
I am Apay Ai-yu Tang. Usually they call me Apay Ai-yu. It's my Chinese name, and Apay is my original Truku name.
Apay Ai-yu Tang is a linguist and an associate professor at National Dong Hwa University. Coming from the Truku people, or Tailu Gezu, in modern-day Hualien, she spent more than 10 years working on language maintenance and revitalization.
I was raised by my grandparents who speak Truku very well. Of course, they're proficient speakers.
Apay's own experiences showed her how important language is as a part of identity.
I used to be a nurse, and I don't really take care of my own language. It's just a tool for me to speak with my grandparents and be close to my family. So I use that language. And then I got some kind of influence from my grandfather, especially. I switched my job as an English teacher. Then I have a chance to go to Hawaii for a master's degree and also PhD degree. In the process, I joined a student group who we all emphasize our own language. We started to realize how important our own language is. I had a chance to collect some Truku songs from my grandpa and talk to him about the traditional stories and other traditional lifestyle, stuff like that. And I just started to appreciate my own language. And I started to feel, wow, this is beautiful. How come I didn't really take care of, how come I didn't really emphasize on it in the past? And I could even feel like kind of inferior to speak Truku in the public area. I came back to Taiwan and started to see some change in my own life. Like I was just strongly or sometimes purposely to speak Truku in the public area. And also I love to speak Truku in my village, whoever they are. So I started to see the change, and just seeing my own past experience, I believe there is a strong link between our own language and also self-identity, or I can even say self-confidence.
Apay's not the only person who started paying more attention to this. Recent decades have also seen Taiwan, at a government level, developing a multifaceted indigenous language policy. Do you feel like Taiwan is going in a good direction heading into the future?
I said the term for the language policy is right, like immersion, like kindergarten immersion program. Also this immersion program, language program in the elementary school, or master apprentice program, like one apprentice learning indigenous language from one master. So those are right. They use this thing, from New Zealand, from Hawaii, MA program from California.
But just having a policy doesn't necessarily get the results.
The direction is right, but then I think we lack of evaluating how they are doing. Are they doing it right direction? In order for a language to be survived, there's two key factors, two indicators. One is the intergenerational transmission. We see that an older generation transmit their language at home to the younger generation. We don't see that. Number two, we don't see the number of speakers increasing. It's been 20 years doing this language revitalization, but we don't see speakers. So there's a problem. We have a policy. How come we don't see the outcome?
Apay believes that the answer is in going local, with programs driven by communities themselves.
My focus is on bottom-up or grassroots language revitalization efforts because based on research, in order for a language to survive, language use is the key point. Then, in order for a language to be used, they need to have three conditions where we have to have the language proficiency, of course. We have a chance to speak with our Truku speaker. Then we have to have motivation. I found myself, starting from my own experience, motivation is important, proficiency is important too. But if I don't have this motivation, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to use it or I don't want to speak it. So my focus is on how can we raise our consciousness or raise our awareness. Myself, my family, community, village, even church, all the indigenous society need to be waken up first to know the importance of our own language. So I write paper about how can we raise our own motivations from school project or from work with church or work with the organization or small association in the village. I collaborate with some young people in my village, and we just started our own association to help the young people to know our own Truku culture. We collect all this Truku clothing or hunting stuff or weaving stuff, something that we use in our traditional life, and so that people come to this room. We actually have an exhibition room in the village. We ask people who are interested to join and to look around how the Truku traditional life look like. So we build up something concrete so people can see who we are.
Keeping culture visible in this way is more than just keeping a museum. As far as Apay is concerned, being able to see and make contact with one's own culture is the foundation for staying connected with it.
From my own observation, if people don't see something existing, they started to lose their memory or, started to fade it out. Their concentration will be on something that's around them. So I think those people who goes to urban area, to make a living, they have less contact or less chances to speak Truku or see the culture, unless some people who have some strong conscious about their own language or culture, and they will, purposely do something. In general, motivation to learn Truku or other indigenous language or culture are much less in terms of young people. That's what I see. Of course, if there is some purpose for them to use the language or to learn the language, for example, young people have to pass the indigenous language certificate. In order to get further education, they have to pass this. So those things, I would say, it's called instrumental motivation, meaning their motivation to learn language is not from inside out. So it doesn't last long. So once they got the purpose, for example, I passed the exam, I passed the indigenous language exam, then I'll be able to go to college. Then after that, they drop. So I agree, create some situation or create some kind of environment for them to have opportunity to contact our language first. But afterward, we need to help them to see how important it is to use your own language so that the motivation can be changed from instrumental to, we call it integrative motivation, meaning inside out. I want to learn my own language or culture so that I can be close to my elders or with my family, or I just love it because that's part of me. There's a lot of research out there talking about how it will be healthier if we know our own language. That's good for your own self and good for your cognitive skills. It's close to elders and that's good for family. The family bound together. They want to translate their culture. But this is big thing. This is like structural thing, the whole structure.
It's a structural issue, which means that individuals have an uphill battle trying to create change. But Apay still finds hope in planting seeds.
I work with a few people who have the same mind and same strategies. So when I work with them, And we started to see some sprout, for example, like we started to see some small little kids starting to speak our language from noun to a phrase, then a simple sentence, then they can dialogue. So I still see some hope if you want to work with some people who are having the same mind and try to increase a couple of speakers. Everything start from small thing, then the small thing will grow. That's our belief, and that gives us hope.
And that does it for this week's episode of Taiwan Talk. I'm Aspen Beilharz, and I've been talking to Apay Ai-yu Tang, Associate Professor in Indigenous Languages and Communication at National Dong Hwa University. Until next week, thanks for listening.